But James, thanks for spending time, mate. Obviously, big game at the weekend. Southampton, Pompey. How excited are you? You're looking forward to this one because it's been quite a few years, hasn't it, since they've played in the league at least. Anyway.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 2013. So it's 13 years ago. Was the last league meeting. The last meeting was in 2019 League Cup at Fratton Park, which Southampton won 4-0. But I think it's been probably the first fixture that everybody looked at with the two teams being in the same league, and the magicians at the EFL fixture department thought, right, well, we'll put it on the end of a international break as well, which will increase the tension and increase the anxiety amongst some Southampton fans. I think Portsmouth have had a good start. We've had an indifferent start, um, with new manager in Will, and a 9 sort of incomings in the summer with a lot of outgoings as well. Um, but it's exciting. I think Will's an exciting appointment. I really like him. I like how he is. He's very candid and honest. And I like his calm pitch side manner as well. And excited by the players that Johannes and Phil have brought in.
Yeah, I went to meet Will a few weeks ago, and I have to say, very impressed with him. I think we had about an hour with him, and yeah, he spoke so openly and candidly, very calm. But we'll talk about him in a little while. I just want to talk about obviously the derbies that you've played in, because this must bring back so many happy memories. And apart from, I think it was one match that you lost 1-0. I think Yakubu scored back in the day at Fratton Park. I think you won all three of your home games, didn't you, against them in the four matches that you played against them during your time?
Yeah, I think we had a good record at St Mary's against Pompey. Um, and I remember scoring three goals in a week against them in two different matches. One of them, which is probably any time a Southampton fan speaks to me, they always remember the goal against Portsmouth, and when I put my hand to my ear and um gave the Pompey fans a little bit back because they were just constantly abusing me, which I found quite funny. Um, but yeah, it was good times. We had a good team back then. We had a good manager, and they were yeah, just blessed, I guess, especially to play in derbies where it means so much to the fans and to the city. And that goes for the Sheffield and the Merseyside and the old firm ones that I played in as well. But this I think it's the fiercest outside of the old firm, which is on another level. I think it's the fiercest derby that I've probably played in. That's probably due to the fact the amount of abuse I got when we played at Fratton Park.
When you played in your first derby, which was it at St Mary's? How did you prep for that sort of game? I mean, it's on a different stratosphere to a normal game, isn't it? I know it's only 3 points. They'll click. I think it might have been a Carling Cup game actually, your first game against them. So that was obviously a cup match. Just tell us, how you prepared for that sort of game, and did you get any advice from anyone going into that?
I think that the senior players. I think it was probably one of the early conversations when I joined in '98. Because coming from Blackburn, it was Blackburn Burnley, and then I guess every team's got their derby or the closest team. But with the rivalry being so fierce and so steeped in history, then yeah, I'm sure that I can't remember a specific example, but the senior players would have definitely sort of wised me up on that. And then it was the anticipation of when's the first one. So it was and to be fair, I've been impressed with a lot of the new signings. I've seen the first interviews and they've all mentioned it, which leads me to believe that somebody, probably will or somebody, in the dressing room, it might be Adam or Jack, because they're probably the only two that are left that have played in a South Coast derby. But yeah, they need to know what it entails, what it means to the people of the city, what it means to the club, what it means to the fans especially, um, and what it means to the self to go and try and put in a performance where you could be a hero for all time.
What's the key about getting through games like that? I mean, of course, it's just the 3 points up for grabs. I mean, that's the most important thing to get a result. And sometimes the occasion can perhaps get on top of younger players. What is the key to get through it where you don't allow the occasion to sort of get on top of you?
The best way I could say that is your own mentality. Um, we myself as a player and now as a coach, you try and instill a sort of level mentality in players. I mean, of course, there's going to be hype around it, but like you say, the when players go out and they say they feel jelly legs, that's nervous energy. But if your process is, you know in your mind that there's an extra bit of needle on this game, or it's a derby, or it means that little bit more. But if your process is good and your preparation is good, um, which it should be, try and keep it as normal as you can for this game, because you've prepped for your games before and you'll prep after. So why not prep the same? And process is a massive thing for a professional footballer and for manager and coaching staffs. So I would imagine that the players will they'll have their own way of preparing. But you've got to try and cut out the white noise, and make sure you concentrate on what Will's saying to the players and how he wants them to play. He'll have he'll envisage how he sees the game going, and what he wants the team to do to impose himself on Pompey at St Mary's. And of course, John will be doing that the same, you know, the other way around. And but it's mentality. But 85% of the game is in your mind anyway. So how you deal with that will determine your performance level. It'll determine your sort of physical output, which again, jelly legs is attributed to nervous energy and not being able to control your emotions. And all these departments, football clubs have them all now. So I would imagine they're being addressed out, however they see fit. But mentality is the one. If you just maintain your mentality, you've obviously got a fire in your belly and ice in your head when it comes to making decisions. Um, I think or in the past, some players have been overhyped, and you see the early challenge because all the fans want the early challenge to be,
Yeah.
a smash, but you have to maintain control. And you'll have seen that, games and derbies that the first tackle and someone gets sent off, and the refs will be prepared as well because it's a big game, and they'll have gone through their preparation and their process. So it's I think mentality's the one. You've just got to be razor sharp focus on what you need to do to perform, what the manager wants you to do, and what your teammates need from you, and then you concentrate on that, and then hopefully the rest takes care of itself.
Can you describe me what the feeling was to score in a game like that? I mean, you scored lots of goals in your career, of course, but those ones are always special, aren't they? And you say you were getting a lot of flack from the fans. I mean, just describe a little bit about that, actually, the sort of hostile flack you were getting and that feeling when you actually score against them.
I can't repeat some of it. um, but yeah, it's an. I mean, I used to love scoring goals, um, but personally, it that sort of level of abuse, it was I did the celebration, um, but it's the only way to respond really, because the fans expect, the ones that are abusing you expect that to affect your game in a negative way. And again, that will depend on your mentality as a player and how strong mentally you are. But it used to motivate me and encourage me to try and, you know, not do something different, but to make sure that I had the last word and my performance level was maintained, and I was giving a good account of myself and the team, and trying to get the right result.
Now, obviously, Will's come in, I suppose, under difficult circumstances because of the season that Saints had last season with the 12 points. That's never good, of course. And obviously lost a couple of good players. Obviously, Montez Fernandez went to West Ham. Obviously, Ty Diblin's gone as well. But they've made a couple of shrewd signings. I thought Finnazas was a good get actually from Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I mean, there's my one of my good friends is a Middlesbrough fan, and he's been going on about Finn Azaz for about 2 years, and he's signed for us now, and he's not messaging me anymore, so he must be upset. But yeah, exciting players. Leo Cienza, Tom Fellows. I think Roslev's a really astute signing by Johannes. But there's Damien Downs. I think he'll have been away on international duty, but I think he what an introduction that'd be to your new team, I guess, to score in a derby. But then it could be anybody, and you know as long as we're on the right side of the result, but it'll mean a lot, you know, to them for the rest of their life. If they can score and score a winner in this derby and be part of a team that wins again.
Just looking at things in general, I mean, with Saints, I mean, obviously they managed to get up through the playoffs last time, obviously finished bottom, and now they're back in the EFL. And we have this situation, don't we, now where all three teams that are going up are coming straight back down. So how do Southampton sort of approach the future going forward? Because obviously they want to get back into the Premier League, but you've got to try and stay there as well. I mean, I know that they can't think about that at the moment. They've got to simply get out of this division. But do you have to have a sort of a rebuilding job now to sort of plan ahead over the next couple of seasons?
I think with Phil Parsons coming in, I think the club's running well, but we need to sort of grow the infrastructure and make sure that the revenues are giving us the ability to go into the transfer market and spend. I know that Dragons having to put quite a lot of cash in at the moment, but like I say, Phil's working really hard along with the exec team to increase the revenue and the infrastructure of the club in a way that makes us able to compete. And you mentioned the three teams that have gone up for the last 2 years. First time it's happened. That sort of gives an indication of how the sort of new rules are impacting clubs. But there's a lot of great work being done behind the scenes to make sure that we are growing off the field and growing on the field. And I think the signings that we've made are exciting. I think maybe they've overspent a little bit, if I'm honest, but the sort of outgoings have helped that as well. I know that we didn't want to let Matty Fernandez go. However, when the numbers get into that sort of realms, it becomes difficult and nearly impossible. So all that's going on behind the scenes. The club is in good hands. It's running well at the moment, and hopefully, Will can get the team playing well, playing the way he wants them to play. I'm sure he'll be given time because he's endeared himself to the club. He's endeared himself to the fans, and the team absolutely love him. So hopefully it's a transition that will end in a massive positive and put the club on an upward trajectory.
And very finally, I don't know if you're going to sit on the fence or make a prediction here. Which way do you see it going?
2-1 Southampton.